believe we're live. It says we're live. We got people in here. If you're in here, welcome. Happy 2025, everybody. Let me get the messages open here. Here we go. Aaliyah, hello. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to take a few minutes, let people join in. This was, if you're here, you're very much like in the exclusive club, apparently, because I hadn't really thought about it. I hadn't given it, I guess, enough thought on the schedule of these new live streams. I was planning on doing it on a Wednesday night, and then it dawned on me like yesterday, oh, the first Wednesday of the year is on the 1st. So yeah, here we are. I didn't have time planned out to promote the stream, but essentially we're just going to hit the ground running. First day of the year. Hello, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here. Michael from Seattle. Joe, great to see you. Aaron Harden. Brandon Saul. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Aaron, hope you're doing well as well, man. It's been a good day so far. Matt live. Yes, this is, I haven't done live streams on YouTube in, I want to say 4 or 5 years. So it's been a while. I've genuinely missed it. I always enjoy doing quick, like impromptu live streams on Instagram, but with YouTube, I want to be able to do more than just answer questions on the fly. We're going to do a lot of that on these live streams, but I also want to be able to share more stuff, whether it be editing or scanning photos, that kind of stuff, like in real time. Yeah, what else? All kinds of different stuff. The photo books is really the main thing that I'm most excited for, is being able to just share all of the massive amount of books behind me with all of you. It's Thursday the 2nd where I am. Well, Happy New Year. The timing, I'm still going to be figuring all of that out, the new schedule. I want to do Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. That's a like perfect time for me. 9 p.m., maybe 10 p.m. That to me is really like the most doable, because it's already after bedtime for the kids. And hopefully during that time, everyone in our house is asleep, and just makes it easier for all of us. So that's the plan, at least right now. I'm very curious what the feedback is going to be. It's going to be tough because the whole live schedule thing, we're all scattered across the world. I have people all over the world who watch the videos, and I want to be able to do it at a time where anyone can pop in, but that's just genuinely not possible. So right now, this is kind of what we're looking at, late night, Wednesday nights. Hopefully it works out. Please give me any feedback or suggestions or anything. These early live streams, especially, like, we're going to be working out the kinks together very much. This is going to be like, this is, you know, the first one. So everything from here is hopefully just going to be building upon this first live stream. So again, appreciate you all being here for this. Let me answer some questions real quick, because more and more people are jumping in now. This is amazing. Thank you all for being here. Tyler, ThyPoc lenses. Yeah, I do have experience with ThyPoc lenses, the 50 millimeter Eureka, the collapsible lens. I have a video on the channel covering that lens. That's the only one that I've tried. They reached out and asked if I was interested in checking out, I believe originally it might have been the Samara lenses, but I don't really have any interest in the Samara lenses. They just look big, and I'm like probably too picky about my M-mount lenses being too big. So yeah, I'm not as interested in the Samaras, but the little collapsible Eureka lens, it's great. So yeah, check that video out if you're interested. I believe they have new Cine lenses out now as well, which I'm curious about, because the cinema lens, It has the declicked aperture. It has the gears as well, but they're still in mount. And I don't know if they're not rangefinder calibrated, but I don't know if the focus throw is still just as short as it would be on a rangefinder lens, because it's great for photography, but filming with a rangefinder lens, if anyone has experience with that, let me know. I've never enjoyed it if I'm either moving the camera or pulling focus during the shot. If it's like a static locked off shot and the focus isn't moving, it's great. But the focus throw on a rangefinder is so short that when you're filming videos, it's really easy to go, further than you mean to. So let me know if that makes sense. All right, let me get caught up here. Brent, what's up, dude? Raymond, Patrick, Tyler, hope you and Gracie are having a good evening. Let me see here. Audio was a little scratchy there for a second. Not sure what it was. Let me know if it's still that way. Is it okay? This is a different setup. We're fully wireless here. I've got the Interview Pro connected to the Rodecaster, just wirelessly. If this setup works as well as I hope it does, it would simplify a lot of my audio process, and that's the goal here. So we'll see. Again, we're still figuring everything out. Let's see. Plan on building any more Lego cameras? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, with Elliot for sure, but I don't have any right now. Are you still with any of your medium format film cameras? Not at the moment. Right now, everything is just with the M6. All of the film, anyway. It's just the M6 and the Polaroid i2. Those are like the two that I'm like regularly using, at least. But I don't really own anything else on top of that. The Pentax 17, I still have that, but I've been letting Tyler borrow that for a while. I don't know if he's finished a roll. Tyler, have you finished that roll yet? What are you thinking for your next photo book? Polaroid. Love the first two. So excited for your next project. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. The next book will be the instant film stuff, Polaroid, Instax, probably mostly Polaroid, and the peel apart Fujifilm. It will be the instant film for sure, but I don't know when that is going to happen, because sometimes I forget. I'll be honest. I was thinking just a couple of days ago, I was thinking back to, the past year and just thinking like, did I really do anything this year that, did I accomplish anything that I really wanted to? And I was kind of just felt like I was like going blank for a minute. And then I remembered that my book finally came out last year in 2024. And that was just it always is such a slow kind of process that, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to enjoy taking some time off from putting something out that size anyway. If I maybe have some like smaller stuff in the works, like smaller zines and things like that, that might come before the next like full, like a hardcover book. I'd really like to lean into smaller publications that are more affordable to print, more affordable for people to buy. And also just things that are just like smaller quantities and a little bit more limited. Just, I don't know, just to make it less of a giant undertaking to, self-publish something of that size. I wanted to do that for this one, but again, it was just like a little bit at a time. It's just one of those things. Let's see. Favorite book you looked at this past year? Oh, super. Oh, Cam Mackey. Thank you, dude. Look at that. Cam Mackey, I appreciate you, man. See, this is what's cool about being able to do live streams like this, seeing other fellow creators on here. That's awesome. Appreciate you, Cam. Let's see here. What was your favorite book you looked at this past year? Oh man. This past year. Knock everything off. I can take my microphone. This is great. Favorite book from last year. Oh man. Um, I really should be making that best or top 10 books of 2024 video. There's a specific person that is always commenting on it. I see you. I know I still need to make that video, the best books of 2024. God, so many came out. I'm going to say this is probably wrong, meaning I might change my mind if I really thought about it, but probably Skin and Grove. Where is it? Chris Killip, right here. This was put out by Stanley Barker. I'm a little bit biased because when I first saw this book, I was in Baltimore at Baltimore Photo Space, and it was the first time I'd seen this book, period. But while we were there, a guy who was from this town, or no, wait, yes, yeah. The guy was from the town, not the same town as the photographer Chris Killip. He was from Skin and Grove, and he didn't know Chris Killip, the photographer, but everyone in the town knew of him, and he was mentioning all these different stories that went along with the photos and the people in the book. That already, like, there was a lot of great context in this book provided to the photos that make them hit insanely hard. But me being there, and that guy, Kyle, was like, yeah, this guy came in the store and he knew all these people. And as he was telling me the story about it, that same guy walked back in, and yeah, so I got to like hear a little bit more about some of the stories in these photos. But yeah, Skin and Grove by Chris Killip, it's probably my number one on books of 2024. Just a guess. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. I didn't know you streamed at all. Patrick Jackson, you are catching the very first live stream of the year and just of the new schedule. So the reason you didn't know that I live stream is because I usually don't. All right, let me get caught back up. I'm trying to figure out where I was. Okay. You've always been an inspiration, especially with documenting your family. Appreciate that. I'm about to be a dad and would love an M6 to document life, but the prices are insane. What would you buy in 2025? I love that. Yeah. First of all, congratulations. Life is about to become so much more than you actually thought it was. So congrats. I'm excited for you, and hang in there. Yeah, the M6, that's tough. I bought my M6 12 years ago, or no, sorry, 11 and a half years ago, and I paid $1,500 for it. It had just been CLA'd. It was in mint condition. It basically sat on a shelf all of its life. And so there were little pinholes in the shutter curtain because it just sat there with the pinholes going through the lens and just burning into the shutter curtain. So sat on a shelf pretty much like all its life. At least that's what I was told. Got a brand new shutter curtain put in it, and then it went on the shelf at Jack's Camera in Muncie, Indiana, and that's where I got it. So I bought it for $1,500 back then, which was, I think at that point, other than like a DSLR, that was the most I'd ever spent on a camera. But that was like a work camera, so it was justified. This was like, it took a lot for me to spend that much on a camera. It was a long time ago. And the cameras now, God, they're so expensive. I mean, yeah. Someone else asked favorite camera of all time. The M6 is my favorite camera of all time. And so I want to say, you know, I've gotten, what are they worth? What are they going for now? 3,000, 3,500, somewhere in that range. I have the M6 TTL. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're around that price range. And I want to say that given how much I use the camera and how much I love it, that I would pay that, because I've paid that for other cameras that I didn't enjoy as much as the M6. But I think it's the fact that I know what I paid for it, and the idea of paying over double that. Man, that's tough. But I can't just say, yeah, it's worth it, go buy one, because you can take all of the photos that you need to take with your iPhone, with anything. Like, you don't need the M6. And yeah, it's hard not to like, it's so easy to like romanticize the idea, especially with stuff like that. I get it with like, it's a special thing, the camera that you're going to be using to document everything. Like, I get it, but also don't sweat it. Like, the photos are what matter the most. So whatever you've got, use that. But yeah, I don't know. I see it's tough for me because like that's a lot of money to just say for anything, and you got a kid on the way. I would advise you to be smarter than I was with your money when I first, became a father. There's a lot of growing pains and learning that you do as you have kids. Yeah, man, I would say stick with what you've got. If you can find someone with an M6 that that you can try it out, or a camera store or anything where you don't have to spend that kind of money on like, I hope I like it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, man. More importantly, though, congratulations on the kid. That's amazing. Let's see. Frame 52 on the Pentax. Tyler, I get it, man. Let's see. Frank, Happy New Year, man. Another question. Love the interview videos. Is there anyone you would love to interview that you haven't yet? Yeah. Atiba Jefferson is one that I have always wanted to interview. I got to see him speak and take a photo of him back in 2015, I want to say. Yeah, it was late 2015. Nora was with me. She was a baby. So, yeah, it was about 9 years ago. And yeah, he's one that I would love to have on the channel for sure. Honestly, though, and everyone here in the chat, let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think of the interview videos, or just the videos where I have guests on? Like, are you into them? Because I enjoy it. I love having other people on the channel. But every time YouTube Studio is like, fewer, like the people that normally watch are not watching. And it's tough to ignore that. And I don't want to keep making them if people genuinely like aren't as interested. I mean, the views show it that not as many people watch that, but I feel like that's probably typical for most long form stuff. I don't know if it's just because of the time for a video like that, like it's much longer, so people are going to be less likely, to watch it. I don't know. I enjoy doing those kind of videos, but if people are tired of seeing them, I also don't want to just like keep making them. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Jacob, Patrick, Chris. Good to see you guys. Do you think keeping a photo book uniform is important, as in mixing it with 35? Oh, okay, I got you. Like mixing formats? There is nothing wrong with that. I think it all just depends on what you're going for. Like the amazing thing about photo books is all of the different ways you can do it. They're all correct, and they're all right, and they're all wrong as well. Like there is no formula to it. You can keep everything as uniform and consistent as much as you want, or you can just throw everything at the wall. Let me see here. Jim Goldberg, Coming and Going. You can see here from just the cover, the collage of everything. And this book has photos that span across the entire spread here. It has photos this way, like it has collages, it has stuff, Polaroids over top of other photos. And it is one of the most dense books that I have. The entire thing is every possible way you can go about sharing a photo on a page. It's done in this book. And that's one book out of all of these different books. You can do it however you want. So don't feel like you have to have everything be consistent or everything, is the same or, shot with the same type or whatever. A lot of people ask me specifically what film I used for Surveyor because they like the way that the photos in that book look. And they're like, what film did you use for that? And I used 3 different film types, all from Ilford, but 3 very different film types. And that's a good example of showing like the starting point might look different for these different film types or different formats or cameras or lenses, whatever. Most of the time, no one is going to be able to tell the difference. At least to the point where it's going to be, like it's going to matter or something that people are going to ask or even care to ask, So yeah, I get the idea of wanting to have a consistent look. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I would say don't feel like you have to have everything be consistent. Hopefully that makes sense. Like an M4 or M4P or M42. Oh yeah, if this was about the question earlier as like an alternative to the M6, that could definitely be, if you don't need a meter, that would definitely be a good sort of entry point. Tommy, thank you so much. Are you planning any trip outside the States? Japan, for example. Believe it or not, I have not been anywhere in the state or anywhere in the States. I've never been anywhere outside the States in all my life, not even Canada. And that's something that I want to do really badly. But the last 2 times that I had intentions of leaving to go on a trip outside the country, both times it was to Germany, and both times family stuff came up and I wasn't able to go. So I don't have anything planned at the moment, but that is something I would love to do. Japan would be amazing to see. I would love that. I'd probably have a panic attack and be overwhelmed, but I would probably have a really good time after that. Oh, thank you, Brent. Appreciate it, man. I'll check that out. Lego photography book sounds sick. Yeah, I would love to try and get the Atiba one to happen. We'll see, guys. What's up, Mark? Let's see. If me, no, nothing was given. Oh, that's cool. See, that's another thing that, like Jacob Rosenberg, having him on the channel, if you know skateboarding and of Jacob Rosenberg, like that, to me, I was just like, this is bizarre that he's on the channel. But outside of skateboarding, people might not have any idea about him or any other person that I might have or have had on the channel. So I'm always interested in just what that is like, because to me, I've always known who these people are. So yeah, I don't know. That's cool to hear. I'm glad that you get something out of those despite not, being into skateboarding or exposed to skateboarding before that. That's really cool. That's awesome. Let's see. Frank. Oh, hell yeah. Frank, that's yours. That's your copy, man. Charles, favorite photo book of 2024. Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Skin and Grove by Chris Killip. That was asked earlier, or it was shared earlier, but Skin and Grove, Chris Killip, This book is phenomenal, really phenomenal. Let's see. I know Drake Johnson. Cool. Oh, right on. Nice that you know Drake as well, Alberto. Drake is another Ohio person. That's the connection there. I just know. I think I know Drake through. Trying to think how I met him. One of our mutual friends, probably Dan. Some different mutual friends in Columbus. Yeah, Drake's just one of the nicest dudes. You really capture beautiful shots. Thank you. Doing a photo project on the subject of friends and family. Yeah, I mean, I would love. That's the thing. I would love to. I would love to put together the act of putting together a book of family stuff. One of the things I really love about Coming and Going by Jim Goldberg, it's very much a personal scrapbook of family, and there's so much family information, history packed into this book, and it's incredible. But I also I have sort of my own barrier or limit with what I want to share in a book. I don't know. It's weird because I share all of the photos that I have shared of my family, and I share a lot less now than I used to. But for whatever reason, I still have some reservations about publishing those in a book and selling them. I don't know. It's weird. It's just one of those things that I think could happen at some point. It's just been one of those things that I've thought maybe one day if it feels right, but it hasn't felt right yet. So I haven't really thought about it or tried to change my mind or come to a hard decision on it. I'm just one day if I decide to, it'll feel right. And I feel like it would have to be one of those things where it's a conversation amongst me and the kids and Molly, the whole family, not just I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I appreciate that though. I'm glad you like the work. What are the chances of a photographer camp out in Ohio so we can try some of your wicked barbecue? I would love nothing more than to host some sort of big photography meetup. And I don't have the grills and all of the equipment necessary to host and feed a bunch of people at a meetup. I have one pellet grill for me and my family, and it's my brother's grill. It's not even my grill. But I would love to figure out a way to actually have some kind of big photography meetup where there was just tons of barbecue for everybody. I don't know. I'm still figuring out a way to make that work, but sometime, and not just a way to make that happen, but when that can happen. But that would be amazing. That's the dream. Let's see. I feel like a lot of the photographers in the skateboard scene don't get as much shine as they deserve. So anytime we get to see them get interviewed and hear their story, it's always great. I fully agree. That was one of the things. I don't really listen to it as much now. I just listened to the Eric Winkowski episode of the Nine Club, which was super good. He's been one of my favorite skaters for probably the last 4 years. His episode was great, but yeah, anytime there's a photographer or a filmer on there, those are usually my favorite episodes because yeah, you don't hear from them enough, and they've literally seen it all. Usually are the first to see it all. Let's see. Oh, nice. FM2. Appreciate that, Alex. Yeah, man, the FM2 is great. That's another one. See, that's another one that eventually I'm going to have a book, all the photos from working with my dad that I've been saying that I want to make that book since he passed, and next month will make 8 years since my dad passed, which is insane that it's been that long. So yeah, eventually that book is coming as well. Surprised to see you on live stream. Well, hey, appreciate you joining. Hell yeah, up here in Detroit, you'd make the trip for some barbecue. Started a barbecue club in undergrad. I'll bring a smoker if it happens. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's got to happen at some point. Clipper, you got Surveyor for Christmas. Oh, that's amazing. Hell yeah. I'm super glad you enjoy it. Let's see. A lot of us called HP5 a Matt Day special. Any thoughts? That is funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the first person to shoot HP5, but that is funny. This time of year is tough to do outdoor stuff. Do you have any shoots planned or personal projects for winter? Going to shoot a lot of double exposures, in-camera portraits for something new. Hell yeah. Good luck with that. That's awesome. Yes, this time of year is rough. Seasonal depression is very real. Typically this time of year, I am just kind of passing time. I usually don't do anything photography. I mean, I say that there will be random days where, I won't see anything or be interested in going out and shooting for 3 or 4 weeks because the weather's just terrible. And then I'll go out and happen to shoot, 2 rolls of film that day or something. And it's just one of those things that when it hits you, it hits you. But it seems to happen a lot less during the winter than it does when it's warm out. My plans for this winter, a lot of continuing to work on the barn and working on insulation and all of that stuff. The ceiling is insulated. The walls are somewhat insulated, but I still have a lot of work to do. If you could just see, like, if the camera just rotated, 360 degrees going this way and you could see everything over here, there's a lot of work to be done still. So that's going to be a lot of my winter time. However, I'm going to be spending a lot of time just going through the archive, both going through the negatives and all my binders, but also going through my hard drives, because my hard drives are what have been really neglected. And they're just, they were used until I would fill them up and then they would get shelved and I would grab a new one, and I have backups of all of those. So I have duplicates of all of these drives, but I don't know what all is on them. I haven't looked through these drives since I filled them up. So there's so much stuff that I need to sort through, and I want to make, as I mentioned earlier, making smaller publications, smaller zines or smaller books that are, things like recurring zines or small books that I have an outlet where I have all of these photos and I need to do something with them. I kind of look at it as all of my hard drives and all of my binders. I haven't actually looked through them, like taken the time just to look. Really ever, I guess. Like, I've done a little bit of just digging here and there, just to kind of like glance through, but properly spending time like looking through everything, I really haven't. And I kind of am looking at it as going through and gathering materials to make any of the things I want to make, whether it be selling prints or making small zines. Just all of the pictures that I haven't done anything with, that have just been sitting there, gathering all of those materials and just start kind of making things with them. So that's kind of my winter get through seasonal depression, just bear down and get through it. That's my plan for this winter, when I'm not actually going to be, working on stuff, working on the actual barn. So we'll see how it goes. I've been trying to sort of carve out that little like outlet or at least just like putting together the idea of having this little like outlet that I can regularly kind of put stuff out. And I wanted to get Surveyor done and out first. So now that I've done that, now I can kind of start leaning in that direction. It's one of those things where it's like I have the idea, but here we are like 2 years later. It's just a lot of stuff is always going on. And so I have to remind myself like realistic timelines to just make things and do new things. But yeah, it's something that I definitely want to do this winter, is just get through everything. Let's see. Any chance for a second print? A friend of mine. No, I'm very sorry. A friend of mine is done. I did that whole second edition in 2021 specifically so I could make the book that I really wanted to make in the first place, and then make it, release it, and be done with it and just move on. Just because it's work from now at this point over 10 years ago. And I just did that book a few years ago, and I don't know. I'm just done with it. So yeah, sometimes you can find them on eBay. I've seen a couple on eBay, some for dumb prices though. Don't pay any more than like what they actually go for when I sold them, which was $45. Let's see. Jared Wolford, love the setup. Just started up an art book publishing company called Junior Publishing based in Cleveland. Hey man, shoot me a message. Jared, if I remember right, you I think I've subscribed to your channel, Jared, because I found it and I think we talked about that. Like I just happened to find your channel, and then I'd seen you comment or something. That's awesome, man. Yeah, shoot me a message. I'd love to talk to you about it. Let's see. Old Nikon of Molly's off. Oh, nice. That's amazing. You got Molly's old Nikon. What was that? Did she have? I'm trying to remember what Molly had. Was it the FE? Maybe she had the FE or the FE2. I'm trying to remember. She didn't have it for very long, unless we're working like on a wedding or something. Molly doesn't really pick up the camera. Let's see. Buying that book on your dad the second it comes out. +1. Me and my bro always call HP5 at 1600 the Matt Day special. That's funny, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, HP5 at 1600 was definitely the go-to for a long time. Any photo book list? Any additions to your last list? Let's see. Most recent book pickups. I've got Failing by Mike Brody, or Michael Brody. It says Mike Brody on the Polaroids that he put out last year, but Michael Brody. It says Failing by Michael Brody. That one just came in. Josh Chaney, someone who I took his senior portraits when he was just a young pup. He just put out his first book, Sassafras Ridge, which I'm going to grab it. Let's see. Yes. Sassafras Ridge. Look at that. Josh Chaney. Very proud of him. Just self-published this new book, Sassafras Ridge. It's great as well. Picked up a lot of books just recently that were a lot of self-published stuff. Josh Chaney's book. What else? Dave Rollins, Send It. Jacob Rosenberg's book just came in. Obviously, I just had him on the channel. Yeah, a lot of self-published stuff, which is exciting to see. Let's see. Oh, that's awesome. Gave you the inspiration to start selling prints through Squarespace. Hey, we love to see it. They help keep the lights on and food on the table. I specifically make small physical books and small print runs. Hell yeah. What was it like working with Artron on the book? Artron. I wanted to use them to print my book. So Bill Ellis, I apologize. I don't know what Artron is. Working with Artron on the book. Surveyor was printed by Edition 1, and a friend of mine was printed by Bookmobile in Minneapolis. Or, well, technically it was printed at Friesen's lab in Canada, but it was facilitated through Bookmobile. They were kind of the middleman in the process, really. So yeah, Bill, I'm not sure what you mean by Artron, but let me know. Sussy Baka, dude. I got a couple of, I saw today a couple of comments on the Sussy Baka reference in the last video. Yeah, that's one thing that Elliot had to, and I still don't even understand what it means, but whatever. That's part of being a parent. I'm already the old dad when my kid says stuff, or, you know, I hear my kids and his friends talking and I don't know what they're talking about. Is there any photo books that you still can't get your hands on? I don't really know of any that I like really want that I haven't been able. Oh, what was the one? There was one I saw at Kyle's house last summer. I can't remember even who the photographer was. It was someone I'd never heard of her work before or seen anything. But it was incredible. And I looked it up afterwards and I was like, oh, cool. I'll never own that one because it was just insane. And honestly, in the past year, I've sold a lot of my like Grail books, or books that I just thought I wouldn't sell this book. Andre Wagner, Here for the Ride. I sold that to my friend Troy. You know, they're just books. I've sort of come to the point where, I mean, I love looking at photo books, and I obviously have a lot of them and have collected a lot of them over the years. But for some of them, I mean, the like really hard to find ones, or ones that people are willing to pay a lot of money for, I'm not that attached to really any of them. So I feel like all of them have, you know, they all have their price, I would think. Let me know if you're getting rid of Bike Path, sold out. Oh, is it really already? I say they all have a price. Richard White, shoot me an email with that information. I probably won't want to sell that one just because it's one of Ardo's books. But shoot me an email and just put that in my inbox, so that way if I ever decide to, I can just search that in my inbox and I'll get it to you if I do decide to sell it. You've got my word. How many books do you have in total? I don't know. I mean, hundreds at this point. That's just one. This behind me is one shelf. This over here, you can't really see it, but like going in this direction here, a lot of that is smaller, either zines or just smaller, thinner books that are all sort of stacked in different ways. I have more on this row. I have a container on the bottom shelf, and then I have two long, like huge, long, deep totes that are full of stacks of zines and small books. Some of it is stuff people have sent me. So not all of it on the shelves is, most of the stuff on the shelves is stuff I've bought. Most of the stuff that I have stored elsewhere is stuff that people have sent me. They're everywhere. There are books all over the place in different shelves and different stacks, different boxes. There's a lot. But yeah, that's the thing. I don't really keep or hang on to cameras or having a bunch of cameras everywhere or gear everywhere, but there are a lot of photo books everywhere. How are Taker and Strawberry? They're great. I mean, Rusi and Peaches are doing great as well, if you're interested. Rusi, I will say, I say they're all doing great. Rusi was scaring us. She was really not getting around very well lately. And today was the best that she has been up and moving around in weeks. So very happy to see that. But yeah, all the animals, they're all doing well. Working on sequencing my first book. Any tips on self-publishing or pitching it to a small publisher? Man, I mean, self-publishing, that's what I would recommend doing, because that's what I do. But in terms of like advice for you, I mean, start crunching numbers, start making a list, start looking at every option of how you can have the book printed, where it could be printed, all the different options, what it's going to cost, size options, like anything that you can possibly figure out. Just any question that you have that you don't know the answer to, write that question down and just start figuring all of those out along the way. Pitching to a publisher, though, I'll be honest, I don't have any expertise on that because I haven't done it myself. Man, I don't know. That to me, I don't know. I mean, the idea of doing it yourself seems scary because it seems like you would have to know how to do this or that. But to me, the idea of like pitching to a publisher seems more intimidating than me just figuring it out and doing it myself. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one on how to pitch. Oh, nice. Hell yeah, Richard. I'm glad to hear you'll be popping into Baltimore Photo Space, man. When you do, make sure you let them know who sent you. They'll take good care of you. Daniel, would I be interested in interviewing John Dolan? I will be honest, I'm not familiar with John Dolan, but there's always a possibility if I like their work. Great that you're doing live streams now, I said, and I've watched your videos a long time. Glad you're keeping the channel going. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Yeah, the live streams, it's fun. It's weird. It's weird that I've just been sitting here talking with everybody. I don't know. Like I wish there was a back and forth where I could hear you guys like it was on a Zoom, because sometimes, as over the last 49 minutes or so, I've thought, am I rambling? Did I just go on a long tangent and I have no idea how much time has passed? Appreciate y'all being here. I know you did some speaking engagements a while back. Did you like doing them or freaking you out? Any planned? If so, where? Man, no, I don't have any planned at the moment. It's funny. I actually have I wanted to do a whole video, or I meant to make a whole video about my trip to Philadelphia. Not last month, back in November, I did a speaking engagement in Philadelphia. That was my first time in Philly, and I was like panicking, like full blown, had so many panic attacks the weeks leading up to the talk. And I don't think it was like I each time, it's not like each time I was panicking, I was thinking about going to Philly, but it was clear that that was like why I was so stressed. And I just had this like full blown, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why people would come listen to me talk kind of thing that lasted like several weeks. And Tyler went with me, and like I went to Philly. I drove there, I did the talk, everything went great. I survived. I met a bunch of amazing people that came out to meet and hear me talk. And it was great, but I had so much anxiety leading up to it, and going through it, like I wanted so bad to stay home. I wasn't going to like bail on that, but I wanted to stay home so bad that like the second I did it and was doing it, and like having that realization of this is why I was freaking out for weeks, and I was fine. Like it was just such a mental battle that I hadn't had like that in a really long time. And yeah, it was hilarious, like me freaking out about absolutely nothing. So we have footage and stuff from Philadelphia, and I'll probably make a video just kind of like talking about the trip because it was super fun. Unique Photo in Philly, they do a camera show every year, and they had me there to speak, and it was super fun. It was my first time in Philly. Philly was beautiful. Yeah, it was such a funny experience because I was stressing out about it so much. But to your point, like typically that kind of stuff, I don't have a ton of anxiety about. I've done it before. I mean, I've flown across the country by myself to do speaking engagements and had less anxiety about this one. And I was with friends around me on this one. So I don't know. Let's see. Any recommendations for, oh wait, I think I missed some. Yeah, I did. I missed some. My bad. Ideally, when are you aiming for the barn to be completely finished? Ideally, I would love to have everything done by springtime. And when I say everything done, I mean all of the insulation is taken care of. Some of the walls, like the walls behind me, I'm going to have wood, just OSB, like on the walls. At least I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do, is put OSB up behind back here. But just some of the walls, getting some wood panels up so that way I can actually hang things on the walls, because right now it's just the foam board insulation. But once I finish insulating everything and finish up the walls, that to me will be done enough. And I'd like to have that by spring. It's always going to be a work in progress. I'll be continuing to do little things. I was sketching up ideas for where I'm going to build a new workbench along that wall. I've got a million different ideas and things that I want to do out here. I also need to figure out what I'm going to do about a dark room, because that's going to have to happen. I'm thinking, honestly, what I thought about doing, Ilford makes a pop-up dark room. And I was like, for the amount of time that I'm going to be spending in the dark room, I could just do a pop-up dark room. It's just like a little canopy tent basically that'll set up. And it's something that I would probably just set up and tear down after each use. But I could also just build almost like a little closet and just a small light tight spot for the enlarger, and a table with some trays. I don't know. I still need to figure out running water, all of that kind of stuff, because if I don't do running water out here and I'm working with like jugs of water, that's going to be a pain in the ass. And then if I'm running inside to wash prints, I mean, it's not a far walk, but during the winter, I really don't want to be doing that, like walking through snow with a tray of prints that need washed. So I'm going to figure something out because I've already paid for the darkroom equipment and the enlarger. It's my old enlarger. I sold it to my friend Corey Miller like way back in the day, and now it's coming back. So I will be having some sort of printing setup, darkroom printing out here at some point. I don't know. We'll see. I also, this right there, the Epson P900, we're going to be doing a video on that soon. I've been working with that, and it's been awesome. Clipper 742, I really appreciate you saying that. A way of putting out quality photo content in a super chill and laid back way. I appreciate that, man. I have a hard time. I don't know how to word this. I get tired of noise. I get tired of a lot of noise easily. And that's coming from someone who talks a lot. But social media is very loud, and a lot of stuff on social media is very loud and in your face. And it's too much. I think sometimes my approach to how I make videos, and I think just me in general, I think it turns away people, maybe even subconsciously. Like I just think I don't think I play the game well enough in terms of like doing the certain things to like hold people's attention and do the certain editing things to keep people engaged and all of that stuff. The thumbnails and the titles, I'm probably leaving a lot on the table in terms of growth and views and all of that stuff, because I genuinely have just kind of done the same thing for 10 years. Like I've made the same kind of videos for the most part. But it's the only way that like feels right and feels I don't know, not like aggressive and just too much. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent, but appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad. That's the thing. I think at times maybe I've boxed myself in or kept myself in a certain spot, but I've found my people as a result of that. So all of you that like resonates with, I'm thankful for that. So I wouldn't have it any other way. Hello. Oh, hey, what's up? Wisconsin. If and when you do get a darkroom set up, I'm sure I wouldn't be the only one to appreciate some printing videos. See, how rad would it be? It would be tough to figure out, but I've done it before. I've done live streams in the darkroom with Matt Marash, like way back up at Midwest Photo. But that would be fun. Or just printing with this too, like live. We'll do more stuff live throughout the year. But yeah, keep the ideas coming. That would be sick. Let's see. The gold you desire is the key. Okay, the gold you desire is in the cave you are most afraid, hesitant to go in. So what's your dark cave you avoid? That's a good question. What am I avoiding out of fear or just being hesitant? I mean, honestly, I think doing more of this is what I've been afraid of or hesitant to do for the last couple of years. I think just trying to put myself out there more. I kind of talked about it in the most recent video, but like not being 100% sure of like my own or like, how do I word this? Just not feeling like I had a solid footing in where I was and how I felt and what my views or opinions were on things. Like I hate nowadays, I hate bringing it up because I don't want it to feel like a thing that I'm just like always bringing up, because I feel like I've brought it up a lot. But when my mom passed, having both of my parents gone, it just really like, it was a lot to, go through and process. And it still is just something you always are living with. But I think I've been very self-conscious of like who I am or like how I come across, or maybe worried that I'm not like giving my best to people. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but for a couple of years, I've like really sort of held myself back from like doing more stuff like this, like doing the weekly live streams that I've been wanting to do. I got a notification today. It was 5 years ago that I launched the Document Your Life stuff. It was January 1st of 2020, which I have, if you can see it, you can kind of see. I've got this flag here that I had like one of these flags made that I was going to do a giveaway with or something, but we never got around to it. And it's just been hanging over the window here. But making more merch and, hats, making like, just making stuff that I want to make, like having a creative outlet. I've wanted to do more of that for over 2 years now, and like have had ideas and things drawn up, and like I've hired graphic designers to make things, and just haven't put any of it out and like shared any of it because I've just been scared of it, I think, and I've just been like not sure. And working on Surveyor was like a big sort of like, I'm just going to focus on this right now, which was great. I was working on something, but I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that I want to put out there. And for whatever reason, out of fear of like what people would think, or whether it's worth, maybe it's not even what other people think, but it's like, how do I know in 5 years if this is really what I want to put out there? In 5 years, am I going to look back and be like, why did I, and I think that's maybe an aspect of it. I don't know. It's just one of those things I'm always going to be sort of going back and forth on it. But yeah, that's probably one thing that I would say I would be most hesitant or afraid of, is just like stepping out of the comfort zone and like doing more than just the usual, or like just what I'm used to. You know what I mean? Joe Brook for an interview. That would be amazing. Joe is another one that I've been a fan of his for a long time. And then through social media, I met Joe, and was supposed to be shooting a wedding in 2021 in Portland. And it wasn't in Portland, but it was near Portland. And it wasn't going to be too far from where Joe is. And I was going to be staying at Joe's house after the wedding, and just spending a couple of days up in the Northwest. And unfortunately, with COVID and everything, that wedding didn't happen. So that got canceled, and I didn't get out there. But Joe is one that I talk to pretty regularly, and it would be awesome to have him on the channel, but I also would prefer it to be in person. That's another thing I want to do more of, is like traveling more just for the sake of making videos, which is going to be We've got some things planned. Some of it is going to be more frequent than others, but I don't know. There's more stuff planned for 2025 that is a little more out of what I've normally done, which is good. I think with Molly just got a new job. She started a new job about 2 weeks ago, which it came about like sort of out of nowhere. And then it was like within a week and a half of even knowing the job was going to be available, she was getting the call that she got the job. So everything changed really, really fast. And so now that's also, I'm sort of figuring out like a new video workflow and like schedule in a way. But with these live streams, at the very least, this is something I know I can do every single week. So in between videos, there's at least this. I'm looking forward to having that for sure. World of Photography. Yeah, Gary at World of Photography. I haven't been there in several years, but yeah, that's a good spot. First time in 10 years you're shooting film. Any tips on photographing your family on film? I have a 2-year-old and one on the way. Congratulations. Any tips on photographing on film? Know the film that you're going to be shooting. Make sure you're using film that you're very comfortable with if you're going to be shooting like quick and fast stuff with the family. I mean, 2-year-olds run around a lot. They're still at a pace where, they're not that all over the place yet. So you don't have to be, it's nothing crazy fast, but make sure you're familiar with whatever camera and film. Well, you said you're shooting film for the first time in 10 years, though. Okay. If you like black and white, HP5. If it's indoors, push it to 1600. If you're outdoors, 400, just box speed. Don't shoot wide open. If you can afford to, depending on what kind of light you're in, maybe stop the lens down to f4 at least, 5.6. Not wide open. If you're not used to it and you're manually focusing, keep that in mind, because if you're not used to manually focusing, you will be surprised at your hit rate. So let's see. I appreciate that, Alex. Thank you. What advice would I have for a new channel in 2025? I wish I knew before I started. I mean, in some ways, everything I said earlier about just not being afraid, but think about what you would search for. Like, what are you looking for online right now that just isn't out there? If you're starting a new channel, man, starting a new channel now compared to when I started, YouTube looks so different. I mean, the UI is different, but just the landscape of YouTube is so different. I would honestly be, depending on what kind of stuff you're making, I would be at least just aware of the YouTube channels that you watch, like while you're making videos, or just like for instance, I don't really watch photography videos on YouTube. I don't really enjoy watching photography videos on YouTube, if I'm being totally honest. Probably because I do it, but also like if I'm watching photography videos, I feel like that could influence how I make my videos, which is something I don't want. So, yeah, just be mindful of like what you're watching. Try not to follow what another creator is doing who does inspire you. think about the principles that inspire you about that creator and not like specifically what they do. If that makes any sense. It's hard to explain, but I don't know, like how many years was that? 8 years or so, maybe. Probably more than that now. Whenever Casey Neistat was real big on YouTube and like everyone, it seemed like, watched Casey Neistat videos, everyone started making their videos a certain way. Try not to follow any trends or making the same kind of stuff that you're watching because it's already out there. I hope that's helpful. It feels like it might not be, but I hope it was helpful. An interview with Gregory Halpern would be amazing. I agree, Pablo. That would be great. That's someone I've never spoken to, but I have a couple of his books. Zizix was a big one for me while working on Surveyor, or like while I was shooting Surveyor. I feel like I came back to that book a lot, which is a very different book than Surveyor, completely different. But I feel like I spent a lot of time looking at that one around then. Your interview with Sage. Thank you, Richard. Sage, that was one of my favorite interviews or like conversations with anyone I've ever had. You know, doing interviews. I was talking about it with Alex Gagne from the Photo Banner just a couple of days ago. And I was asking him about the Jacob Rosenberg video. He sent me a message about it, you know, when it went up. And I was like, man, what do you think? Like, I feel so rusty with like interviewing people. And I think maybe also just because it's like what I was talking about earlier, like I was in my own head maybe and just thinking I don't have the ability to like navigate interviews or conversations with people because I overthink it. And he was like, yeah, dude, it's fine. So I appreciate that. The Sage one was one that she's just so kind and yeah, she had so much to share that was just she's so easy to talk to that yeah, I would love to have her on again at some point. Let's see. Oh, Aaliyah, appreciate you staying. Yes, I believe they will be. I still need to look into all of that. But I believe so. Let's see. I appreciate you saying WV analog. Appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. That's the mindset for the year, is to just focus on making and doing, and yeah, less worrying so much about the little stuff and just focusing on that sort of forward momentum. Met you at Beers and Cameras meetup in Atlanta last year. Hell yeah. No meetup plans at the moment. But I would love for them to do another Film Stock Beers and Cameras big event down there in Atlanta. That was so much fun. I would love to have that sometime again. Nothing planned at the moment, but keep an eye out on Beers and Cameras Instagram. They've always got stuff going on, and that's definitely the place to keep an eye out because they're the ones usually arranging everything. Favorite place to get vintage gear other than KEH? I mean, you can check eBay. It's hit or miss. You gotta shop smart. You know, there are people on eBay with horrible seller, you know, ratings, and people are not gonna check that, and they're still gonna buy from them. Yeah, be thorough, but you can check eBay, check Facebook Marketplace. Not all the time, but sometimes you can find people who, you know, have stuff that they just need to get rid of. They don't really know what they've got. It's far less common nowadays than it used to be, but yeah, I would check eBay, Facebook Marketplace. You don't have the peace of mind shopping there, so you got to be kind of cautious. Do you still chat with your friend Matt Seal? Would like to see him and his work with the 672. Yes, I do. I just saw Matt a couple of days ago. I drove up to Columbus and I met him at a Wendy's to give him his old printer back. Since Epson sent me that Epson P900 over there, Matt's old printer that I revived and brought back to life several years ago, I went ahead and told him he could have it back. So I dropped that off to him along with a bunch of ink refills and yeah, he'll be back on the channel. We've been talking about a bunch of different things we want to do, videos we want to shoot together for the channel. So Matt will be back on again. Hell yeah, Alex. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate the questions and I appreciate you hanging. Yeah, guys, the streams moving forward, the plan, as I mentioned up at the top, I'll quickly wrap up sort of what we talked about at the beginning about the streams. Eventually, we'll have a little bit more of a polished stream. I'm learning everything on the fly, so I need to learn OBS. That's a new software I need to learn and figure out how to, actually produce a live stream rather than just hitting, live and connecting my camera. But eventually the plan will be 2 cameras, having a switcher where I can switch in real time. So if we want to look at photo books together, I'll already have a camera ready to go. I can cut to it, and whatever I have in front of me, you guys can see it in real time. That's the goal. That's like the main goal for the live stream, which I'm going to be figuring things out hopefully very soon. However, I will be relaunching the channel members and the Patreon. It's going to be $4.99, $5 a month. Weekly live streams every single week. I'm going to be here on YouTube. However, the first week, just like tonight, is free. It's open to the public the first week of every month. That's my plan right now. The schedule for 2025. Every Wednesday night, I'll be streaming. It'll be exclusive to Patreon or channel members. You could either join on YouTube or sign up on Patreon, whichever way, whichever preference you have, I guess. Last time I did it, it's been years since I've had that set up, but last time I did it, people had a preference. Some people preferred one or the other. So regardless, I will be having both of those available. If the $5 a month is not of interest or in your budget, you just don't want to pay, you can't pay, whatever it is, that's totally fine. One live stream each month, the first Wednesday of each month. That live stream is going to be here, open to the public on YouTube, just so everyone can hang out. If you can't do the whole, paid membership, whatever you want to call it. If you can't do that, it's all good. It's just a little extra way to support the channel and just kind of keep things going here. It's another thing that I've been wanting to do and have been putting off for a few years. It's especially easier now because I'm out here in the barn. I hope the sound has been okay. It's been like raining and like freezing rain outside, metal roof on the barn, and the heater has been going. But doing stuff like this has been something I've wanted to do. I feel like the idea of having a photo community or a community around my channel, I feel like I've had that for years, but it's like I'm catching up with all of you from video to video, and there's like this big chunk of time in between the videos where I don't have this like real-time conversation with you all. And that's the kind of stuff I really like, I get the most out of in terms of like connecting with people. The fact that I can sit here like this and talk, and we can all I can't hear you, but we can at least do this. It's such a big part of this thing where I'm talking with all of you that I normally don't get. So yeah, we're going to be doing this every week, and I'm super excited for that. Feels like the first time in a long time where I'm going to have some like consistent sort of routine, normalcy, schedule. all things like that. Feels good. I'm excited about that. But yeah, eventually, as I mentioned, I need to learn OBS and everything. And this live stream, maybe we'll have a name for the Wednesday night live streams. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a fancy intro. There'll be graphics and, you know, a little intro card, whatever you call it. Maybe we'll get to that point one of these days. Hey, there. All the best in 2025. Greetings from Canada. Any book reviews coming up? Slava, is that how I pronounce it? I was talking about you earlier. I said someone keeps commenting about all of the books and how I need to make that 2024 book video. It was you. I see you. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, the top 10 books of 2024. Hey, maybe we'll do that in a live stream. Would that be cool? Would you guys like a live stream where it's like I basically give, I don't know, I could give say 10 minutes to 10 different books or something, and we could just go through, flip through my favorite books of the last year. That could be cool. I don't know. Let's see. Richard. Oh, nice. Tech help, let you know. I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind, Richard. Some more food for thought also is if we can see the comments on screen, because I'm checking my phones for the ones you don't read out. Oh, okay. Watching on the TV. Good to know. See, that's another thing I need to figure out with the streaming. Yeah, I'm sure that's something I need to do with OBS. Richard, is this in your wheelhouse? Yeah, if I can figure out how to have the live chat on the screen like that, production quality of your channel is top notch. I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope the stream looks and everything. Everyone has said the audio has sounded good. That makes me happy because this is a dead simple setup. So yeah, super happy about that. Just want to say your video on the QL17 helped me decide to get a QL19 as my first rangefinder. Hell yeah, Quaid. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Stream is solid. Good. Awesome. Yeah. This is something like that. Having the chat on screen would be great. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn. This I didn't even know. I'm streaming right now with a Nikon Z8. I didn't even know if I could use that as a webcam until last night. So I luckily had everything I needed to get this going. But next week for the live stream, I will have a little bit more prepared. Hopefully, between now and then, I'm going to try and learn a little bit more on the production side of the live stream. But I'm glad so far it's worked really well tonight, and haven't had any issues. I kind of assumed we'd be working out the kinks. Tim, I apologize. I missed your message earlier. Good to see you here, man. Might be able to get the live chat on screen if you use OBS for streaming. Yeah. That's kind of what I was wondering. Again, I'm learning the YouTube live workflow here, so it basically just gave me the options of just streaming with the browser or launching OBS, and I have no clue how any of that works yet. So this is what we've got so far. Just picked up a Mamiya C330. Been watching your videos on it for pointers. Amazing. That's such a good underrated sort of, it just gets overlooked in the TLR world, I think, because of its size and everything. But like interchangeable lens, TLR, bellows focusing, that camera's amazing, man. Mamiya glass is just, yeah, it's incredible. I haven't shot with that one in a while. That was one that, like many, I was like, oh, why did I sell that one? I got to get it. And I did that 2 or 3 times over the years. Man. Happy 2025 to you as well, Chris. Appreciate you being here. Been thinking of getting a Nikon. Any recommendations? Recommendations in the mirrorless world, because the only one I have experience with is the Z8. And I was going to make a video just kind of talking about my use with the Z8 like a couple of weeks ago. And then I realized I don't really have a lot of stuff that I've shot with the Z8 that I can share. Because it's mostly stuff for work and I'm like shooting stuff for the school. So it's mostly photos of students and the staff, and they're not my photos. They belong to the school, and it's photos of kids and stuff. So it's nothing that like legally I'm sure I would be able to share on my channel. So I need to figure out, I need to just go out and shoot with the Z8 more so I can like share some stuff from the camera, I guess. I was just going to like talk about, hey, it's great, but I can't really show anything because of that reason. So I need to spend some more time shooting with the Z8. And then I'll make a video just kind of talking about it, I think. I feel like if I made a video just talking about how it has worked, you would still get the information you would need. But I know people would be like, why aren't there any photos? Even though, you know, whatever. I'll make a video talking about the Z8 and kind of showing why it works so well for the work that I'm doing. It's very much a, let me see. Oh, okay, cool. Richard says the chat is showing on YouTube TV. You just need to select to show it. Okay, well, that's good. I didn't realize that was an option. Very good. So yeah, it's, wait, what is FERPA regulations? I don't know what that means. The regulations. But yeah, the Z8 is, it's great. It's a workhorse and it's big. Like you can't show the kid. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't even bother like trying to figure out what's the legal, what's like, I'm sure that's not a good idea. So I'm not going to share any of the photos that I, shoot for that job. Which is like, it's like one of those things where it's like, I want to share because I love working there, or getting to take photos there, working with the people there. I don't actually work for the school or anything. I'm like a independent contractor for them, just taking photos. But it's so much fun. But yeah, the Z8 is great for that. And the autofocus on this camera is amazing. The ergonomics, it feels like a DSLR. It's a tank. I love everything for that. Like, I love all of those things, but it's also, I don't know how much I will use it outside of work because of how big it is. And just, no matter what I need it to do, it's going to do it before I even tell it to. It's that fast, like across everything. And so it just feels like it's so much camera, but for a work environment, that's what I need. You know what I mean? So I haven't tried the Z6 III. I've wanted to, but I haven't yet. But I just got the Z8 because I've been trying it for a little while to test it out, and it works really well. So I just got one. So that's what I'm going to be using for work and probably filming the YouTube videos. It's over there somewhere. The Osmo Pocket 3, the DJI, I still have that, and I still think it's an amazing tool. But I also really love filming with a proper, just a more, a camera where I can actually control what focal length and just control everything, the whole look of it. When I'm filming in a controlled setup like this, I still think I prefer that, filming with like a mirrorless camera or something. But the Osmo Pocket 3, like using it for what it's actually meant for, being a compact, pocketable gimbal camera, it's incredible for what it's actually meant to be for. So I haven't tried the Z, or I have tried the ZF, but it was like only for a few hours. My friend had one and I just like tried it out for a few hours. Hated the ergonomics, like hated the ergonomics. If it had a grip on it, which they made when the camera came out, I think because they understood like this is really not a comfortable camera, people are going to want to put a grip on it. That to me was like the first sign that the grip is not good. If it's being like they announced it with this third-party grip that was made by SmallRig, like, yeah, the grip on that camera was not great. But everything else, like image quality wise, looked amazing. I always loved all of my Nikon cameras that I used years ago. For all of the work stuff, I always used Nikon DSLRs, and I loved those. Like, no matter what, I mean, I started with the D60 and then the D90, and then I went from the D90 to the D800, and it was like massive upgrade. That was my first full frame DSLR, was the D800. That time was like at 30 megapixels. 30, I think, was how many it had, maybe. And it was like, that was crazy at the time. But I always loved the Nikon DSLRs, and the Z8 feels like a DSLR because of how big the grip is. That it's awesome. But yeah, the ZF was one that just because of the grip, I didn't care for it. But I think if I had a grip on it, I would probably enjoy it more. The flip screen, that's another thing I really like about the Z8. Even though I'm a YouTuber and the flip out screen is convenient, this camera, I don't have that option. It just has the flip up screen or the flip down, but that's how I prefer to use that if I'm either filming something, like I'm behind the camera, or if I'm taking photos and I'm using the LCD screen. Whether I'm filming or taking photos, unless I'm in front of the camera, I prefer the LCD screen to be in line with the sensor. It makes sense to have that in line with the lens and everything be, square. So with it flipped out to the side, it's such a nitpick thing. But having used the little flip out cameras for several years now, going back to a camera like this, just having the standard flip up or tilt screen, it's just so much more enjoyable to use. Yeah, Richard, the A7R5, yeah, that one that Sony has that does both. Eventually, they all need to get to that. I don't know if like Sony is the only one who is allowed, if they've got a special patent on their hinge. I don't know, but I would love everyone to get to that point, because it's great for us when we need it, for people who are filming themselves. But any other time, if I'm not filming myself, I really want that screen to not be off to the side, because it's just awkward to be, like looking off. That just feels as goofy. I don't know. It's one of those things. So yeah, the one on the Sony, the new Sonys, are like the high end ones. That one definitely looks like what I would want on any camera, I think. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this stream tonight, guys, though. That's let me think. Yeah. Oh, okay, I saw it. New scanner. Sorry, I just now saw that, Richard. Easy 35 scanner. I have not tried it. I am still scanning with, I'm still scanning mirrorless. I was scanning with my Lumix that I was previously using, but the autofocus on that just was not cutting it for work. So that's why I've got the Nikon. I needed something for the autofocus for taking photos of the kids, something that could actually keep up on the job. So now I need to find a macro lens to use on the Z8, and I'll be scanning everything that way. So looking to scan my FM2 with my A7R5. Oh yeah, Yeah, scanning with that A7R5 will be perfect. I used an A7 IV briefly. I had for a little bit, year and a half, 2 years ago. Um, but yeah, it's that's still going to be the method that I'm going to be scanning with, just using the Z8 and the mirrorless setup. So, oh, Z7 too. Hell yeah, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, eventually, I don't know. Maybe the idea would be like a Z6 III or something if I did pick up a second body, something that would be a good hybrid when I need to film myself, and then when I really need the top of the line photo workhorse, and even video, the Z8. Like, there's just so much to this camera that I haven't even scratched the surface on, like in my actual use. It's going to take me a while just to like properly get used to this camera and everything that it can do. So, yeah, I'm going to spend more time with it. We'll probably do some more videos. If you're interested in stuff on the Z8, let me know. But yeah, it's going to be it for this stream, guys. I appreciate all of you joining me on the very first stream of the new year. Wednesday nights, clear your schedule. At least right now, I'm thinking 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Send me a message, comment, email if you have any thoughts, feedback, anything on the timing of the stream, ideas for streams, anything at all. Like, just make sure you send feedback to me. And like I said, we're going to keep kind of tweaking things, and I want to make sure I do the streams at a time that works for as many people as we can. And I want them to be fun. So appreciate y'all hanging with me, asking questions and stuff. Happy New Year to you all. Best way to reach out, website. Yeah, website contact form is perfect. mattdayphoto.com. You can reach me there. Thank you for the awesome stream. Hell yeah. Appreciate all of you that were here, whether you were in the chat talking, if you were just lurking in the shadows, not saying a word. I see you as well. Appreciate y'all hanging with me. And I hope y'all have a great 2025. Let's be intentional in 2025, and let's hang out a lot more often. So love you guys. Thank you for hanging with me. And yeah, Happy New Year.